What's going on, everybody? It's Steve. We're here with the semifinals. We are indeed playing Ray, which I thought would happen after we beat Bohm. Ray, I talked about this team briefly. It's similar in construction to my team, where you've got this fast mode with the superior Scyther, possibly Glade Dreadnought. But most of the time, this team is going slow with Glade, Dragalge, Gramble. Maybe an Avalug, Furret in there for Follow Me. Magnetum, Sturdy, also good. Had a dominating 2-0 victory over XC Runner in the quarterfinals. I do believe the top 3 are guaranteed, as well as Gramble. Gramble basically needs to come for Intimidate and the fairy damage into my Hariyama. Glade with Psycho Cut and Sacred Sword is incredibly good into me. Superior with that Leaf Storm or the Stellar Terrablast. Dragalge's Draco Meteor is very threatening to everything except Fortress. And then from there, I'd mostly just expect Furret +1. Ditto's actually really threatening into what I'm bringing, so hopefully it's not Ditto. Let's get into what I'm not bringing. Feraligatr was on this build for quite a while. It's a good week for Water and Ice, but it has to Terra against Superior, and it's really bad against Trick Room mode. Noctowl is really good with Tailwind to go fast, Whirlwind to stop any Trick Rooms, but that is not good against Furret, and it is too frail. It just dies to Sacred Sword without significant investment or terraing. Sandaconda also forced to Terra against the Superior, but this week was good for Glare and Rockslide. Didn't end up bringing it. Veluza has a good week to run Final Gambit and to spam Psychic moves, but it's just too slow at 70 base speed to do anything in a fast mode. And Cryogonal does no damage. This mon is absolutely garbage. So here's the plan. We see Choice Scarf, Tauros with Surf, and I'm going to activate my weakness policy, Steam Engine, Terrifier Colossal. A +2 Colossal will OHKO everything on the team with Heat Crash. Nothing with Mirror Herb does 84%, because Surf does 16%, except for a modest Draco Meteor and a Head Smash, so I'll be faster than everything, and if they're Mirror Herb, they copy the speed boost, not the attack or special attack boost. So the most that can, I've even accounted for Tauros giving a +1 boost to an Adamant max attack superior with Mirror Herb, and that doesn't get it with Stellar Terrablast. So, unless I'm missing something, those are the only 2 that could be Mirror Herb, Dragalge, and Dreadnought. Earthquake is here for Dreadnought and Dragalge, and Rockslide is there for Furret Follow Me, also hits any Dragon or Water Terras. This is important for a Glade Furret lead, for example. If he goes Follow Me Trick Room, I can go Surf Rockslide. I'm not really worried about Wide Guard and then Furret doing something, because then he's just not doing something, and Colossal is activated. That does get tricky, because Trick Room goes up, and then I have to protect, switch out Tauros, and then I bring either Hariyama or Dusknoir, and probably maybe Executor. We'll get into those. But Terrifier here, even if Gramble comes with Intimidate, I get it with a +1 Heat Crash if it's just max HP. And Terrifier allows me to resist Leaf Storm and tank at least 1 Sacred Sword, maybe more depending on the investment. I outspeed Glade if they have set up Tailwind with Scyther or Glared me once I'm activated, and Tauros is Scarfed faster than Furret, just in case of Scarf Trick. If you bring Scarf Tailwind Scyther, so be it, honestly. The other moves on Tauros are just good coverage. Body Slam gives me a chance of paralysis once I switch back in to go with that really fast Rock Slide, and Wild Charge once again for Water Terras. Ghost Terra on Tauros for a Sacred Sword, probably won't end up using it. And because I am going fast with these 2, I need Dusknoir or Executor in the back. And here's my Dusknoir and Hariyama. This is a Trick Room and Anti-Trick Room lead, depending on what he's bringing. Life Orb, Dusknoir, Shadow Sneak plus Fake Out from Hariyama will Oko Gallade at max HP. If I Terra Ghost, yes, that's what Terra Ghost is for. And otherwise, Life Orb Poltergeist just chunks all the rest of the team. And with Feint, you can't protect on it. Taunt is for Furret mainly, but I can also taunt Gallade for Imprison or Trick Room, Encore, etc. You probably don't bring Mental Herb against me. And if you bring something fast, like Superior Scyther, I can set Trick Room, Fake Out Trick Room, very reliable. Close Combat and Ice Punch hit 9 out of 11, never forget. Pokemon for super effective damage on his team. I got AV to live a Draco Meteor, and Bug Terra to live 2 Leaf Storms, or basically infinite Leaf Storms if I do it on the first one. Thick Fat is, I mean, the other abilities aren't good here because I want to flinch. So I can't run Sheer Force, and I don't think he's running status against me, so I'm not running Guts. But Thick Fat is good against Ditto if it copies my Colossal, because then it can only hit me with rock moves, which I resist, and ground moves, which won't do a ton of damage. And I can hit back with Close Combat. The other two, Executor and Fortress, only ever in the back. I don't think I would ever lead either of these. This is the same Executor set I brought every week, basically. Just the EVs are changing. Water Terra is quite good against me this week, so I need the grass coverage. I know in the broadcast for the first round they said they didn't understand why I was bringing Executor. It's because I need to cover Water Terras, and they keep coming, and I keep getting Okos with Energy Ball. Fortress, Steel Bug, amazing defensive typing this week, because there is no fire type to hit me, and fire coverage is really weird to bring against a Colossal team. And a Hariyama, and an Executor. There's one Steel Resist in Magneton, so I can just spam Iron Head. Drill Run covers the Magneton, but also hits Dreadnought and Trigalgy super effectively. Lunge for that Superior. And Terra Ground and Sturdy. If I ever get in a 1v1 where I got max HP left on my Fortress, I can tank a fire move from that Colossal at +2. Terra Ground, Drill Run, gets the Oko. Probably not going to happen, but you never know. I don't really want to Terra out of Bug Steel because you don't have a fire type. That is the team. Good luck to Ray. Haven't played Ray in a while. Hopefully we have a good match. Alright, we're ready to go. Let's see what Ray's got. No Furret is... Thank God. I was most worried about Furret here. GLHF to Ray. Haven't played Ray since the first season of Gen 9, I think. And I think that was the only time I played Ray, so this is my second time. Avalugg is a little surprising. It looks like he wants to go slow. So I want a way to reverse Trick Room, which is not Executor, because I'm going to need to Terra you. So let's get Dust Noir. And then Terras. 2 Ghosts. Okay. Fairy. Interesting. Dragon and Fighting. Okay, this all makes sense. Fighting to resist Rock, Dragon to resist Fire, Fairy for extra stab, I guess. Fairy to resist Dragon. Ghost to ignore Fake Out, probably. And so... I don't have a good way of hitting this Avalugg unless I bring Executor. Alright, I need the special attack. Ugh. But if I can intimidate him... Oh, we could have Clear Body. No, we can't have Clear Body. Beauty. Well, let's try Hariyama then. In an ideal world... Oh, there's no Ditto as well, which is very good. In an ideal world, Cole just goes off here. I Surf. Depending on what he's got, I can Heat Crash or Rock Slide. I know that this Gallade will not live a Heat Crash. Even if that's your lead. And no Clear Amulet. Okay. Let's go. Terra Fire, Heat Crash, and Surf. I don't care what you're doing. With Terrifier, I should get this KO with the Surf Chip. Unless you're like max, but then you're not doing any damage. And because you're not clear amulet on either of these, I should be relatively safe here, damage-wise. As long as Gallade goes down and Trick Room does not go up, then it gets really tricky. And I should not be showing my Scarf here, unless you are also Scarf. Do I have the right ability? Yes. Okay. That would be a catastrophe. And if this Gramble is also just max HP, Heat Crash will also get it when I'm Terrifier. And there's not a Terra Dragon, or there's not a Terra Stellar Terra Blast coming out of that Superior in the back. If you have these two up front, I expect you have Dragalge and Avalugg. I suppose a switch here from Gallade or a Protect would be pretty bad, but that's a pretty hard call out. Even then, I don't think I'm taking too much damage. If anything protects, surely it's Gramble. So we can get, or switches. Could see this being a switch too. At least I have Shadow Sneak. So I can Shadow Sneak that Avalugg if it goes for Terra Ghost. Well, that didn't do a whole lot. We were kind of expecting that though. Heat Crash gets the KO. What's you doing, Gramble? That's fine. You're doing nothing. I would expect that to be Focus Sash on the Gallade. Because neither of those were Mirror Herb. No. It went after Gramble. So whatever it was doing, it's either slower than Gramble or it's going for Trick Room. Which means it's Iron Ball, or it was going for Trick Room. Or this has been sped Crip a lot. There is the Superior, which is interesting. I'm going to Heat Crash you, and I'm going to switch in Dust Noir to get some info, or Hariyama to get Fake Out. I am AB. I like Hariyama more here. Let's see, a Terra Dragon. Nope. There goes Gramble. And Reflect. Interesting. Okay. That is Terra Ghost. Heat Crash does 40. Could just go for Rock Slides here. Rock Slide Fake Out seems pretty safe. Yep. Okay. Feint would have been even safer. We're just getting some chip. Big crit. Okay, there's Iron Defense. And I have a Ghost type, so not all is lost. And I can not paralyze him. I want to get a taunt off. As long as I take out this Superior, I might be able to get through this with flinchies. I do wish this was Executor right now and not Hariyama, because this Hariyama has effectively done nothing. Lefties, Citrus. Okay, this should get the KO. Double Protect makes sense. Yep. Okay, we're going for flinches. Flinch and Taunt. I almost had Flamethrower on this to cover for Avalugg, because this is terrifying. And it just goes for body press. I live, which is amazing. Iron defense, body press, probably an ice move. If I had a Will-O-Wisp over taunt too, that would have been good, just to get that consistent chip. And actually, I should just protect here and Poltergeist. Still allowed a turn of the reflect. Even if you ice move here, that's whatever. I missed. That's not great. Ice spinner. Oh, I'm gonna lose. God. Okay, well, I mean, the solution to this is very simple. It is Executor. Or a crit. At least you don't have Reflect anymore, so I will be doing a little bit more damage. Yeah. This is super effective, does 20%. That may allow me to get through, particularly with a flinch. Okay. Taunt ends. If you protect, it's whatever. Right, because I'm doing 27%. In theory, I can get through this. Okay, there goes... Oh, you're going for that. Yeah, that makes sense. I want to get an Intimidate off. Because I am out healing this, right? On tempo, of course. Bro. Okay. So what is my path forward then? It is literally... crit Poltergeists. Oh. No, it's a freeze. Freeze is more likely than a crit. Yep, that makes sense. We taunt and we go for the freeze. Freeze him? Nope. And there goes that. Okay. It's still a freeze. This has not changed my plan. Yeah, so if I had just brought Executor, I'm pretty sure I win this. No damage. Freeze. And dead. Okay. GG. That's a very annoying way to lose. But that's why we brought Executor, right? Man. And we just saw screens on their superior. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm not bringing Hariyama. Hariyama did nothing. Oh, man. I just need to get in that exact same position, but with Executor. Or a few more flinches. I only got one flinch on, what, 8 rock slides? Yeah. And he has no protect. Hold on. What other terrors do I have? Bug might be able to do something, but probably not enough. Drill Run has a high crit rate, but that's just way too low of an attack. This will be a very annoying way to get out because I almost brought. Yeah, that's fine. You are Terra fighting. I do think I Terra this still. And I'm just gonna Rock Slide. Or do I just take this? Do Reflect, Protect. Probably Light Screen and Leaf Storm, so I don't care about you. Let's Terrify your Heat Crash and Surf. On the other hand, maybe I need to get rid of Superior, but you could. I mean, I fully expect this to be these two, Gramble and Avalugg. Okay. Interesting. Goodbye, Scyther, unless you're Mirror Herb. Indeed you are not. And just Leaf Storm. Cool. There's the Granbull. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of Granbull, and then I'm gonna taunt the Avalugg immediately. Because he should be setting up Reflect this turn, and I feel like that Granbull is Assault Vest or something. So my line here is you go for Reflect, and you attack with Granbull. I get the Oko on Granbull. I bring in Dusknoir, I taunt the Avalugg so it can't Iron Defense. It also wants to Terra really badly. So Superior will then not Terra, which leaves me able to taunt. And then if you don't Terra, I always Oko you with Heat Crash. And you're not Life Orb. So without Iron Defenses, I should be able to get through this. That is my goal. Now Protect, or Protect Granbull would be really bad here. Leaf Storm into Tauros would be really bad here. Okay, no switches. Room Service. Interesting. There's... oh, he Terra'd. Nice. He's going for Reflect. Okay. So this plan has thus far worked out, because now I can Rock Slide and Taunt. I'm pretty sure you don't get me with the +2 Leaf Storm. And I know you don't have protect, so you can't protect this taunt. Now, of course, the worry here is that this is Dragon Pulse or Terra Blast and not Light Screen. But I do have a little bit of an advantage here that you are not Terra Ghost. You are Terra Dragon. If your only attack is Leaf Storm, I should win. And I'm actually going to have to stop my live commentary here because my daughter is just going to have her last nap in the room next to me. So I will watch this video back and add commentary after. Okay, so that turn results in a Leaf Storm into Dust Noir. I get a Rock Slide off, and I flinch Avalanche, which is pretty key. Whether that was Iron Defense or something else, it is obviously very good for me that it flinched. So now, I know that I need to keep Dust Noir alive because I need to keep this Avalugg from doing Iron Defenses or rests, as we saw last turn. I can't switch in Executor for fear of an Ice Spinner or Dragon Pulse if it has it. So I'm going to keep fishing for flinches, and I'm going to keep going for Rock Slides, and Tauros is going to come in and hopefully eat a Leaf Storm or Protect. We get the Protect and a Rock Slide off, still doing 20%, which is decent. Body Press taking me down to 54. Now, here I know I have the speed advantage with Tauros, so going for that paralysis chance with the Body Slam. Wish I had Raging Bull to break that screen. And then I'm just going to keep slamming Rock Slide for that flinch chance. Also get super effective damage into Avalugg. And I did not expect Leaf Storm here to KO. I get a huge crit. This crit ends up being very important later, as I lose both Mons, not expecting that Leaf Storm to KO. And here it looks really bad, but I have Shadow Sneak. He doesn't know I have Shadow Sneak, so I'm expecting Leaf Storm or Dragon Pulse into my Dust Noir, and then an Ice move into Executor, which I am EV'd to be able to live 50% of the time. This loses immediately if he just protects Superior and attacks Dust Noir with Avalugg. But I don't think he would do that because he hasn't seen Shadow Sneak. He's probably expecting Trick Room and maybe Will-O-Wisp as my other moves. He's seen Poltergeist, he's seen Taunt. Shadow Sneak is probably very unlikely on that set. So that is what I go for. And I get the KO on the Superior. Last turn of Reflect as well. Ice Spinner goes in. You see me pop off because I know I have won the game. Probably. Go for Taunt. Dust Noir is dead to one more turn of Life Orb. So I need to go for Taunt just in case I don't get this KO, which I do not. But I live the Ice Spinner, so it didn't matter anyway. I did do the calc afterwards. Poltergeist gets this KO anyway. Even if Executor went down, so I still had a 90% chance to win that game. You'll see me hover through a bunch of options here. So at first it is just the same four that I just went with. I'm looking at Fortress, like what can you actually do here? With Granbull being brought with Intimidate, there's not really much Fortress can do. And then I think, wait, Granbull is coming. and it's probably going to be lead, and I think what he is going to do is cycle Gramble in and out to make my weakness policy boost on Colossal null. Really just has to switch it out once. And because Heavy Slam is 40 base power into Avalok, that's a very easy switch. He knows it OHKOs Gallade, but it will definitely not OHKO Avalok. So here I'm thinking, what if I do my Dusknoir Hariyama lead? How will that do? I could feint into Poltergeist on the Superior. Will that get the KO? Will that get the KO at -1 on both of them? Or even feint into Poltergeist into feint. Shadow Sneak, something like that. Because then I don't have to worry about Reflect. And then I decide, you know, I'm not doing the calcs. I'm going to roll with this strat, but I'm not going to Terra Colossal this time. I am going to Terra Executor, because Terra Executor resists both Leaf Storm and potential Dragon Pulse out of that Superior. And all I am going to do is click Rock Slide with Colossal for this entire game. And yeah, I just check all the possible information I've learned from Ray's team throughout the series. I've seen nothing on Gallade. I've seen 3 moves on Superior. I've seen only Play Rough on Gramble. And nothing on Scyther. And I've seen Avalok's entire set. So there is the Gramble lead with the Superior as I expected. So in Game 2, he did not Terra his Superior right away, and it really confused me. As it turns out, this is because he had Scarf Scyther and he thought it would be faster than my Tauros. But it wasn't. So he was going to KO Tauros with a close combat. So here I am thinking he's just not going to Terra Superior again. I just go for a Heat Crash right away. And a Surf without... I do end up not Terraing. Let's just click that cancel. Because I am, like I said, expecting Gramble just to switch here into something that will tank a Heat Crash. Whether that be Dragalge or Avalok. Because I've already shown that Colossal can get that OHKO on Dragalge. Or not on Gramble, sorry. Considering the Rock Slide briefly. Ray takes a lot of time. Mind you, I'm also taking this much time, but eventually it is just the Surf and the Heat Crash. And there was the Surf. Get the weakness policy. Heat Crash still does a respectable 35. And Reflect goes up. And now is where I just click Rock Slide for the rest of the game. Obviously I have to switch out. Body Slam is somewhat of an obvious play for this Avalok. Or not Body Slam, Body Press. So Dusknoir would be the safe switch into that. And I don't want to get bopped by a Dragon Pulse. So I do end up switching in the Dusknoir, because I also want to get a Taunt off. There's a Dusknoir switch in, Rock Slide doing good damage there, and a flinch, and a flinch. And you begin to see the pop-offs coming. My eyes are going wide. This allows me to get the taunt off. I clicked Poltergeist there. You might have heard me gasping because I realized Superior doesn't have an item. So I realize now Avalok does not want to get taunted. So Avalok is going to switch back into Gramble. So in anticipation of that and a Leaf Storm, I switch back into Tauros so that I can start body slamming alongside my Rock Slides. So I switch out first because I'm faster, and I pop off again because I see the Gramble switch in as I expected. And we're doing less and less Leaf Storm is going to take out that Tauros next turn. So I know I'm both faster, so Tauros is going to go down. So I decide to target the Superior, try to get rid of it before Tauros goes down. Probably an obvious play because Ray does end up protecting. Yep. But yeah, there was the protect. And we had Rock Slide doing just 17% to Gramble now, but very importantly, getting the flinch again. If you're keeping track, that is now 3 flinches in this game. I am literally praying to RNGesus as I go for yet another Rock Slide Body Slam. And Ray starts thinking, how can I get out of this? And he actually switches out the Superior into the Avalok to tank that. I go Rock Slide Body Slam. I get the paralysis on the Avalok on the switch and the flinch on the Gramble, and I'm really popping off now. This flinch all but guaranteed the game, I think. Because ideally both of these guys go down. I'm going to get as much damage as I can. And if he doesn't switch, the game is locked because I have Dusknoir Executor in the back. And I can freely Poltergeist into the Gramble and Dragon Pulse into the Avalok. And he has no switch-ins for either of those moves. Particularly when Gramble goes down to 2%, so we do see the Stomping Tantrum. Now, because I was saving my Terra, and we do see the Iron Defense as well, which is actually worse for him now. Because I was saving my Terra, I think even if I hadn't flinched the previous turn on Gramble, it would have been fine, because it comes down to a read on what this Executor is going to do. He has to decide, am I going to Terra or not? Here I decide to not Terra, because I'm like, wait, there's no reason to do it now. I'm faster than both these mods. They're both going down. If I Terra, I'm now weak to Gallade in the back. So this is me doing some actual math. I'm comparing the damage between Energy Ball and Dragon Pulse to make sure that Energy Ball, or the Dragon Pulse, can get the KO. Because I expect a switch, but if he doesn't switch, do I still get the KO? I determined that I should do 61%. I'm not using the damage calculator, I'm using an actual calculator. Energy Ball did 65, Dragon Pulse should do at least 61. Even on a range, I don't think 50% is in that range. And I keep second guessing myself over and over. Here I am pulling up the calculator. And then locking it in. Because I need to cover for that Superior coming in, because that's the only way I lose. There is the switch. So I get the KO with Tauros. He's just spamming Body Slam for the rest of the game. And because I know this Avalok does not have Protect, I have a free Energy Ball into that slot now. I don't even have to worry about the range. And I can just keep spamming Body Slam. Because I intimidated Gallade earlier, I know it's not Clear Amulet. So the only way it takes out Executor's Choice Band, and honestly I might have EV for that, I don't remember. So I'm not particularly worried about it. Terra Ghost would have been good here on Tauros, because I'm not ever Terraing this Executor when I'm going to get hit by a Sacred Sword. I don't think Gallade gets a good Ice move to use here. Or Fairy move. So yeah, I believe he's pinned, and I have this game locked. And all we needed was 5 flinches, 0 misses from Colossal, and a crit in game 2, which I didn't realize at the time actually mattered a lot. There's the Sacred Sword, the 67, so I definitely EV'd for that because it is Life Orb. And then he shows me the Psycho Cut, probably going for the high crit chance. Which makes sense, but because Body Slam did 40%, it just dies to Life Orb. And I give Ray props. It was an excellent build. That Avalok was horrifying. And I didn't account for it at all. And then I win basically only because of Colossal Flinch and crit hacks. So props to Ray for being a good sport about this nonsense. And we'll see who we're playing in the finals. They are playing tomorrow morning. It's either Dan or Keith. Peace.